Hi, I'm Noelle Randall, and on today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about how to flip with no money down. Can we still do this? We're going to talk about it. So in today's video, we are going to get to it. I'm going to be giving you some great information. I'm going to be sharing with you, one, are no money down deals still available? Can you flip with no money down? I'm going to be sharing with you, laws have changed, and we're going to be talking about that and how you can do it still. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is what you need to do or have in place before you can go and get these no money down deals. I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the thing or the things that people told you that you need that you really don't. Okay. That's the key. Okay, so let's get to it. So number one, the first thing that you want to do when we're talking about flipping with no money down is you're going to need to get pre-qualified. Well, what does that mean and what does that entail? It's actually very, very simple. So in flipping, if we're talking about a fix and flip, because there's two things that we need to talk about before we kind of even get into this. When we're talking about flipping, you can either fix and flip a home, or you can do what we call flipping a contract where you're wholesaling. And actually both of these things you can do with no money down, and I'm going to get to it. But in either case, you want to start to think about, okay, if I needed money, if I needed hard money, or if I needed private money, I need to get pre-qualified. And so the first thing that I want you to do is start looking up hard money lenders, okay? Look them up in your area, and I'm gonna give you some ways to find them at Real Estate Investor Association meetings and things like that. You really want to get pre-qualified and find out what their qualifications are, because this changes all the time. Do not listen to people that tell you you're not gonna qualify or that they're not gonna give it to you or anything like that, or you need all of this stuff. As simply is not true. There are so many different products and programs and things out there, but you have to look into them, start seeing what the criteria is, and know that, okay? So number one is you want to look into what hard money lenders need so that you can finance or borrow all of the money should you need it, okay? And I'm telling you, they do not need high credit scores, 700s and all that other stuff. That's totally not true. Most people can qualify for a hard money loan because in many cases, they're using the property to help you qualify. But again, I'm going to even give you some other ways where it's not even necessarily you that has to qualify for the hard money loan, but you want to know what hard money lenders are available in your area and what their criteria is. So that is step number one. Go ahead, start looking into hard money lenders and seeing what their qualifications are. And then if you can, go ahead and get pre-qualified. Easy. And I'll give you some links below to help you with that. So number two, when we're talking about how to flip with no money down, again, we have the fix and flip where you buy a property, you fix the property up, you renovate it, you do repairs on it, and then you relist the property for a higher price, okay? That's typical fix and flipping. Now, that usually does require money because one, you had to acquire the property, buy the property, and two, you had to repair the property. But let me give you the sauce, okay, guys? Let me give you the sauce. No one said that it had to be your money, okay? So let's talk about when we say no money, does it have to be your money or can it be other people's money? Of course, it can be other people's money. So let's talk about what that looks like. Other people's money. What does that look like? OPM. We've heard this term before. OPM, other people's money. How do you get other people's money? Well, in most cases, you should try to get other people's money through your business. That is like the easiest way to do this. And I'm going to tell you the easiest way to do it. I'm going to even give you a link to a video where I tell you how to establish business credit, how to establish yourself as a business so that people lend you tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to your business. Because the fact of the matter is, most lenders and banks, they'd rather lend to a business than an individual when it comes to real estate. I'm not going to get into any long explanations. I have a couple of degrees where I can really go into this and explain it to you, but it really is not necessary. Just know that the economy in most places are really built around businesses and that lenders want to give money to businesses. So how do you get that money? Well, pretty easy. You start a business, you establish your business, and then you get business credit. And I gave you a link where you can get business credit in a matter of months, where people are lending you money in your business's name, not your name. And then you can use that money very easily, very legally to fix and flip properties for a profit. And it's pretty easy. And again, you can fix and flip them, or a much lower, less expensive thing you could do is get those properties and just flip the contracts. And again, I have a video where I explain to you how to flip contracts, and it's going to be a link in the box. And that way, you know, you can start making big profits without actually having to borrow much money, not very much, or even using your business credit and establishing business credit will allow you to get properties, make profits without having to use your own money or your own credit. So not touching your own social security number and things like that. It's amazing, and I have a link to tell you how to do that. And so now let's talk about thing that people tell you you need that you don't need. And that, of course, is great credit and a lot of money. Obviously, in this video, I'm telling you, you can flip with no money down. We've established that. Is it possible? Is it still legal? The answer is yes. And I've done this and I'm still doing it. So when I first got into real estate investing, I was a disaster. You know, I started in 2004, 2005. I flipped houses while I had a job. I got the houses out of MLS. I was a complete disaster. So when the market crashed in 08, 09, I lost everything. 07, 08, we lost everything. Ended up having to move back into my parents' basement. And I was defeated and sad and poor. But something kept drawing me back to real estate. And I kept hearing that I could do this with no money. And I got a coach, and he taught me some really good things about wholesaling. So again, when I'm saying flip houses with no money, you don't necessarily have to fix and flip the house. You can wholesale. I literally started flipping contracts, aka wholesaling real estate, while working a full-time job, started making like $5,000 a month while working full-time, and then I was able to transition out of that job to be the real estate millionaire that I am now. And so that's what I'm telling you. Do not get defeated when people tell you you need great credit and you need all of this money. That's simply not true. The key to this is establishing the business, because people will lend to your business if you establish this properly and you use the money that they give you to only buy real estate and not buy shoes and purses. And so the final tip that I'm gonna give you just as a bonus, like I said, I did this, didn't have much money, didn't have good credit at all, had a ton of foreclosures when I started doing this the correct way. When I graduated from wholesaling properties or flipping contracts to flipping houses and repairing them. So I'm gonna, just a tip for you guys is don't jump into these really expensive houses, don't watch too much HGTV and try to mimic things that they do. Just start small, and you're gonna start with your marketing. Again, I'm gonna keep giving you content for free. Noella's here giving you all this free information. I wanna just basically make a course just for you. And my tip for you is really just start small, start with some marketing. Do not spend a lot of money. I'm gonna give you lots of free ways and tips to get started so that you can find perfect properties to make, like I said, at least $5,000 on. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know I gave you so much content and so much information. Watch it again if you need to, and please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Watch other videos. Like I said, I have so much content for you guys. Go ahead and watch all of the videos in this series so you can get all of the information, so you can get the full training for free. I'll see you next time.